UFC Vegas 107 has been a bit of a train wreck. We've had 3 canceled fights. We have 2 short notice opponents, and we only have 11 fights on the entire card. People love to complain about the main event, but the reality is we have the number 4 woman in the world taking on the number 5 woman in the world in a very logical matchup that may decide the future title challenger. My name is Angelo. This is We Want Picks, and I'm going to give you my bets for UFC Vegas 107. But before we look at this card, let's look at what's right around the corner. If you don't love UFC Vegas 107, I promise you'll like UFC 316. I promise you'll like UFC Atlanta, and I promise you'll like UFC, I think it's Baku, I think is how you pronounce it. But either way, we've got a whole bunch of really good events around the corner, and we already have 21 total units of bets on the board for those events. So if you want to check out all the bets that we already have for UFC 316, UFC Atlanta, UFC Baku, you can do that now. Just go to WeWantPicks.com. You'll instantly see all the bets, all the picks, all the tools for all of those events because it's $10 for an entire month's worth of access. And here's what 1 month looks like for you. While you're there poking around, let's take a look at the safety parlay because this has been and always has been the beacon of stability. It's a volatile sport. This card specifically was a really tough one to find a safety parlay for. I managed to find one, and it happens to be plus money. Last week's was plus money as well with Nurzulton and Mel Costa at plus 109. If you want to unlock the safety parlay, not just for this event, but these 4 events, you could do so now at the website, WeWantPicks.com. It's more than just some copy-paste bets. We have tools. Tape Index is the newest tool. And over the last 4 days, it's been a little chaotic because ESPN deleted tens of thousands of videos. Tens of thousands of videos have left ESPN. I don't know if they're cleaning up server space or if it's part of their negotiation with the UFC. But it took us about a day and a half to get all of our things updated, and we are good to go. All of the tape index, the fights, the historical videos, all that up and running, good to go. ESPN threw us off for about a day, but we are back up and running. So check out the tape index. If you like to watch fights with your own eyes, to do your own research, tape index is the easiest way to do it. And it quite literally will save you hours a week, and it's included in the premium membership. We also have a tool called the line movement tracker. This will give you the opening odds, current odds, win probability, and the line movement for every fighter on every card. And we have a prop hunter, a curated set of data specifically designed to help you find prop bets. There's about 30 other tools as well. Check them all out. Some of you are here for the free bets and you just want to see what's going on. Others of you like to do your own research, find your own spots, use my information to help validate or scare you away. Check it all out on the website, WeWantPicks.com. Everything we offer is inside of an app, and everybody who likes to complain about line movement and I wish I saw this bet ahead of time, make sure you have the app installed and make sure you have notifications turned on because literally this morning I placed a brand new bet and I sent a notification to the thousands of people with the app and said, hey, new bet on the board. Check it out now. If you like the bet, great. If you don't like it, that's fine. But at least you got to see it when it was placed at those odds, and then you can make your decision for yourself. Let's talk about this event specifically. I mentioned it's a mess. It's a mess. We're down to 11 fights. 2 of those fights are short notice matchups. We're probably going to lose one at weigh-ins because that's the sport. So we're going to end up with 10. This is all in all a disaster. And it still could be a fun card. There's a lot of really interesting matchups. There's a lot of good spots. It's also chaotic. Very chaotic. It's at the Apex. This is our last Apex card for a while, so let's just grit our teeth through this one. Hopefully win a bunch of money and then use that money next week at UFC 316. If we're talking about some confident favorites and some solid underdogs, these were pretty easy to put on the board, honestly. Now, how this fleshes out is very different. The last event, UFC Vegas 106, there felt like a bunch of good dogs on that card too, and only one of them won, and it was Gabe Green, and he shouldn't have even won his fight. He was almost submitted. And the only reason he did win that fight is because his opponent's an idiot who got tired. Anyway, if we're looking at favorites, Rayanne dos Santos, she is 0-3 in the UFC. So you know you got a quality Apex card when you have an 0-3 woman in the UFC as a 3-1 favorite. The reality is, though, that she can at least fight. Ardelean is somebody that I've been talking about for a little while, saying she's actually pretty good. She's tough. She's gritty. She'll get in your face. I thought she won her UFC debut and got screwed. But at this point, how many times can you make excuses for somebody? It is what it is. Rayanne dos Santos should win this fight. She'll move forward. She'll get some takedowns. She'll stay in her face. Ardelean's not very good. She is insanely tough, which could create a weird situation where we have a sort of one-off round and all of a sudden Alice wins a round or gets a sketchy decision, but Rayanne should win this. She's quite literally the better fighter in every single aspect of MMA outside of just raw toughness. Zach Reese should also win. Zach Reese is a guy that we saw get power bombed out of a triangle. He's a guy that just got smoked. But the power bombing, I mean, that is you're the idiot hanging on to a triangle against somebody that powerful. His last fight, he lost to somebody very, very, very good. Zach Reese is fighting somebody who gets finished. Somebody who doesn't have a great chin. Dusko Todorovic is not really UFC caliber. Zach Reese should win this fight. We've seen the insane power in his hands. He's got very good jiu-jitsu. The only times he looks like an idiot is when he's playing the jiu-jitsu nerd game and gets smoked. I don't see that happening in this fight. He should absolutely win. Dustin Jacoby's another guy. Dustin Jacoby's a little older. He's been run through the ringer as of late, but he should be the far better striker. He's got very good takedown defense, and he should be able to stay off the cage. So he should win this fight. He's a clean 2-1 favorite, and I think we're good there. Aaron Blanchfield as well. Listen, Aaron Blanchfield is kind of a one-dimensional fighter. Macy Barber talked about that in the press conference. She's one-dimensional, and I'm going to expose that. And she's not necessarily wrong. She's very one-dimensional with the grappling. Her striking's not very good. Takedowns aren't even very good. But what she is insanely tough with insane forward pressure. So you don't need to have the best takedowns on the planet. You don't need to have the best striking on the planet if you're just going to get in somebody's face, swing wild, and do everything you can to drag her to the ground. She just beat Rose Namajunas, who's a former world champion, who is very good and very well trained. Aaron Blanchfield lost. Her only loss is to giant Manon Farrow, where she couldn't really bully her. She should be able to bully Macy Barber around. She should be able to drag her to the ground, should be able to stay in her face, push her up against the cage, and I think all of that over 25 minutes will work well for her with the judges. I think Aaron Blanchfield wins this fight, and I think we got a decent deal here. If we look at solid underdogs, there's a bunch on this card. Jaffa Filo's one. This is a line that was minus 115 the other day, plus 175 last year when this is booked, and now we're sitting at plus 129. I think Jaffa Filo is a great underdog. I think he outright wins this fight, so I'm not just picking him because he's a good underdog. I'm picking him because I think he actually wins. Kurt Hollaball, plus 185. Same thing. I also think he wins. He's fighting a very one-dimensional guy. The difference between my breakdown with Aaron Blanchfield being one-dimensional winning fights and Jordan Levitt being one-dimensional is Jordan Levitt's striking is not very good. His takedowns are not very good. And he doesn't have that insane toughness or forward pressure. He's just looking to get this to the ground if he can. Kurt Hollaball's takedown defense is questionable at best, but he's got good hands. He's got very good jiu-jitsu, and he is a dog as well. I think Kurt Hollaball can absolutely win this fight. Then we got Trevin Giles at plus 142. I don't necessarily think Trevin Giles wins, but I do recognize that Trevin Giles has fought the far higher level of competition, despite not beating those people. And don't tell me that do not tell me. I don't want to hear that he beat Roman Dolidze because he didn't. That was a bad decision. Trevin Giles has a great jab. He's very athletic. Might be enough to get him through this fight, or it's short notice. He's already chinny, and then Gustafsson is just going to find that spot and get it done, and then Ludovic Klein. Obviously, Gamrot could come in here, wet blanket his way to a pretty boring, straightforward Gamrot win, or Ludovic defends a few of those sloppy takedowns, drops Gamrot, who has been dropped in 6 of his last 10 fights or something like that, and then sneak out a close split decision. Ludovic is a very good striker, and as long as he doesn't engage in the grappling, gets his hands going, we all know Vegas doesn't care about wrestling at all. So if Ludovic's hands are there and he's moving forward, he should be able to win this fight. Let's take a look at my actual bets. Very light week for me. Obviously, we've got UFC 316, UFC Atlanta, UFC Baku around the corner. Plenty of bets on those cards, but for this card, with all the change-ups, all the cancellations, all the short notice, very light. But what is out of character for me? I have 5 bets. 4 of them are plus money, including the safety parlay. That's not in Big Ange's character. I'm usually safety Ange, conservative Ange. You usually don't see a ton of plus money bets out of me, but here they are for your viewing pleasure. I do have a parlay with Dustin Jacoby and Billy Goff. Dead even money plus 100. The reality is I think they both win. So I put them together. Very simple. I don't have full insane confidence, which is why that is not the safety parlay, but they both should win. And that's it. That's the logic. Dustin Jacoby should be the better striker. Billy Goff just has that tenacity, the toughness. He's going to move forward. As long as he doesn't engage in the nonsense on the ground, he should be fine. Kurt Hollaball is a dog for all the reasons I mentioned. I think Jordan Levitt's pretty one-dimensional. I think Jordan Levitt will have some success getting it to the ground, and I think Kurt Hollabaugh survives, and then the rest of it, hopefully, is on the feet, where Kurt should have a wild advantage. Kurt Hollabaugh is also a very good grappler, so I don't see him getting submitted, which is why I think he's a decent matchup here. Ludovic Klein, win inside the distance, decision, no action. That's juiced. That's not a discounted price point there. But all this is saying is if Ludovic Klein finishes Mateusz Gamrot, which he may or may not do, will get paid. If he goes to a decision, though, win or lose or draw, we get a full refund. The reason this line is juiced is not because they expect him to finish Gamrot. It's because they expect to deliver a refund here, which I also think is the most likely outcome. I didn't trust betting on him plus 3.5. I didn't trust betting on him to, outright win because he could get taken down and held down, right? A couple bad decisions, all of a sudden that fight's over 30-27. There's not a world where I see Ludovic getting finished, but there is some world where I see him potentially finishing the fight. So if that happens, we get paid. If it doesn't, we'll get a full refund. Jafo Filo, plus 140. He was plus 175 last year when this was booked. I think Jafo Filo wins this fight. He's more active. He's got phenomenal jiu-jitsu. He's got great hands. His opponent hasn't fought in 2 full years. I think Jafo Filo wins this fight. I'm surprised he's the underdog, to be honest with you. I think he should be the favorite. I think he's quite literally the better fighter. My one and only concern is he only has 1 decision in his entire career, and this fight might go to decision because Alan Nascimento is pretty tough. And then we have the safety parlay, a unicorn, a plus money safety parlay, and that would be 2 weeks in a row because at UFC Vegas 106, you got a plus money safety parlay that hit. I've hit 6 of the last 7. It is the beacon of stability, and you can unlock that bet with quite literally everything else that we do. There's no tiers, no upsell, no bullshit. $10 for everything. Safety parlay is one of those many things. Here's a couple of other bets from Jacob and Bet Sam. We have a total of more than 21 bets on the board right now. 21 units of bets on the board right now. And that's across multiple events. UFC Atlanta, UFC 316. Jacob put a UFC Baku bet on the board like 2.5 weeks ago. So we've got plenty of future bets as well. So anybody who waits till the week of to sign up, you quite literally might miss out on a bunch of really good lines and a bunch of good bets early. But if we're taking a look at what we got BetSam's Slam of the Week. You're going to have to check that out on Premium or from BetSam directly. I'm not trying to give away his stuff, but the reality is the Slam of the Week, I don't know if it's statistically quite as good as a safety parlay. It might be better or it might be right there. The Slam of the Week hit like 8 of the last 12 or something absurd like that. 8 of the last 10. 10 of the last 12. Something like that. He lost 2, but over a wildly long stretch. You can check out that Slam of the Week. Sometimes it's a parlay. Sometimes it's a single bet, and he just goes all in on it. Jacob bet on Michael Aswell. This is a brand new short notice opponent for Bolaji. Bolaji went from being a 3-1 favorite down to a 2-1 favorite, then back up to a 4-1 favorite in this fight. And I think a lot of people don't know what to do because Michael Aswell did lose on the Contender Series. This is a short notice UFC debut. Bolaji was already a favorite, which I don't think he should have been. I thought he was going to lose that fight. I am going to think that Bolaji should be well prepared, should be in better shape. Michael Aswell was booked to fight, but he was booked to fight in June 22nd. Obviously, this is much sooner. But Michael Aswell's a guy that's going to move forward, get his hands going at an insane pace, stay in your face, never quit, never stop. That might be enough to win him this fight. I don't necessarily know, but Jacob did throw 0.35 units on that at almost 3-1 odds. Jacob also has a Dustin Jacoby bet. Just flat out outright bet on Dustin Jacoby. He has heard from people inside that camp and other places that they are very confident he wins this fight. They trust him to stay off the cage, get his hands going. He should be better quite literally everywhere. So he just went ahead and put a clean, easy moneyline bet on Dustin Jacoby. Then we have a parlay from BetSam. It was Zach Reese, Bolaji Oki, and Andreas Gustafsson. The Bolaji leg is canceled. This was against the original opponent, but I left it here just because this is the bet that has been on the board for quite a while now. When it was an active bet for Bolaji, this was like +2 something. Bolaji drops, so we got Zach Reese and Andreas as a basically 2-leg parlay. That's still +135. He threw a full unit on that. The boys have a ton of other bets on the board. We give you some of these bets for the video. Taste a teaser. Here's a little taste. You want the full meal? WeWantPicks.com. Part of that full meal will be the safety parlay. 6-1 in the last 7. 6-1 in the last 7. I cannot be more clear about how insane that is. That's a single parlay. And before some of you bitch and complain, but Ange, that's not really 2 legs is barely a parlay. The fuck world are you from? That's quite literally a parlay. Ange, a real parlay is plus 500. Okay. You place plus 500 parlays every week. Let me know how that works out for you. I gave you a plus money parlay, safety parlay at UFC Vegas 106. Gave you another one, UFC Vegas 107. Check it out now. WeWantPicks.com. Unlock that and quite literally everything else that we do. If you rewind about 12 minutes, you'll see the slide where we talk about the favorites and the underdogs that I like on this card. You'll see the odds for these sports books. Bet online. Then you'll see the bet openly odds. And you will notice that the bet openly odds are better quite literally every single time, whether it's an underdog or a favorite. They've got the best odds on the planet. And that's because they are not a sports book. They don't need you to lose to stay in business. All they do is facilitate bets between human beings, me versus you. And because they don't need to build in profit for themselves, they get to pass on better lines. Check them out. WeWantPicks.com/betopenly or just go to betopenly.com. They quite literally have the best odds for every sport on the planet. Check it out. If you bet enough and you care enough about the lines and the value and the money that you'll save with better lines, then that is absolutely the spot for you. And then finally, while Bet Openly is not a sportsbook, we still have sportsbook partners. Go check them out at WeWantPicks.com/bets. If you use any of our affiliate links to sign up with one of these sportsbook partners and then you make your deposit, they're going to pay us commission. It's an affiliate link. Then I will take that commission and then give you $50 of it. $50. The only thing you need to do is use the link. And before one of you reaches out to me like, I haven't gotten my $50 yet, only to find out that you used the promo code and not the link, let me remind you, we don't have a promo. There are no promo codes. No, zero, none. We don't have promo codes with the sports books. It's quite literally the link. You have to use the link. That's how we get paid, and in turn, how you get paid. WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up, make a deposit, get $50. This weekend is let's just bite down, cross our fingers, hope for the best. Because we got a bunch of really good cards, great betting opportunities right around the corner. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member at the top.